The Chicago Sky have made some more moves this offseason. I want to talk about their trade for Rebecca Allen from Connecticut. Also talk about Courtney Vandersloot in free agency. Same with Kia Nurse, those signings. We'll talk about that today. To start with the Beck Allen trade, they are acquiring Beck in exchange for Lindsey Allen and Nikolina Milic. For Milic, she is 30 years old. It'll be her age 31 season. She played 2 years with Minnesota. She was part of that Angel Reese pre-draft trade between Minnesota to move back, with Chicago trading up, giving up future draft assets in that deal. Milic never played a game for Chicago, now on her way to Connecticut. With Beck Allen and what she can provide for this team, she is 6'2", 6'5" wingspan, good athlete, can guard multiple positions. Her best value and her best skill is her defense. Shot 35.7% in 18 games before she went out with an injury last season. Overall, on her career, 36% from three, 2.7 attempts. She's a steady player, isn't going to draw a ton of fouls, get to the rim, but as far as like quick decision making, keeps the ball moving, can make threes and defend. This is a good fit for Chicago, needing more of those off-ball players that can space the floor and take pressure and like just create more spacing. That has been Chicago's issue. They were one of the worst three-point shooting teams of the modern era in 2024. Hopefully that is not as big of an issue in 2025, now having Beck Allen. They do send out Lindsey Allen in this deal. Lindsey is someone I feel like gets a bad rap because she isn't this explosive offensive player. If you compare her to the upper echelon point guards in the W, yes, there's a clear separator as far as scoring talent. But also, I wouldn't say Lindsey Allen was the problem for Chicago last season. They were considerably better whenever she was on the court versus off the court. So last season, negative 0.9 net rating with her on the court. Whenever she was off the court, that went down to negative 14.9. So having a solid passer that could set things up was huge for Chicago. But even though I do like Lindsey Allen as a player, I think this is a good process from Chicago where having Lindsey Allen and Courtney Vandersloot on the same roster is a lot of redundancy. Yes, it would be nice to have very similar players on the court at all times, but they bring the same kind of skill set as far as pass first guards, the scoring, the three-point juice isn't there. So like replacing Lindsey Allen with Beck Allen, who is much more versatile as far as being able to play different spots. The other way I would put it here is it's easier to find a replacement for Lindsey Allen in free agency to be the backup guard, or your third guard with Moriah Jefferson. Have some questions there with MoJeff as their backup point guard, but it's easier to find a Lindsey Allen on the open market than to find a Rebecca Allen. The skill sets is just much more rare with the 3-and-D, 6'2" wing that can shoot and defend. So yeah, that is huge for Chicago. So for their projected rotation for me, as of right now, at the one, Courtney Vandersloot. Sloot returning to Chicago, played her first 12 seasons there, the last 2 in New York. She had her worst year of her career in 2024. Gonna cut her some slack though, had some off-court stuff going on in 2024. But I wouldn't expect Courtney Vandersloot to come in and be the all-star she was in 2022, 21, even back to her prime where she was one of the best point guards, the best prime point guard stretches in WNBA history. The experience she has and the overall brain, the feel for the game, you don't lose that even with age. One comparison I would bring here is like with Chris Paul playing now with San Antonio. You're going to still have the feel for the game, the passing ability that you're getting from Courtney Vandersloot. That will be vital for the development of Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso to have an experienced guard working with her, setting her up on post-ups, and just overall in two-player actions. That will be huge for Chicago. Now for the 2-guard spot, I would go with whoever they draft at number 3 overall. Hopefully they keep this pick. I think they should just draft a young player. There are some players on the board at 3 that would be nice fits and can develop here alongside what Chicago is building with Kamilla Cardoso and Angel Reese in their front court. But I've saw some people say they should draft Dominique Malonga out of France. Dom is a 6'6" center just because of best player available. Usually I am best player available, but whenever you just drafted 2 centers that don't shoot threes and then drafting another 6'6" center that Dom's a better shooter than Kamilla, and Angel by far has much more perimeter skills than those two players, much more functional as far as the perimeter skills. Even if I am higher on Dom's potential long-term than Kamilla and Angel, I feel like that is just a bad look to draft someone that plays their position, and it would make it seem like they don't have confidence in Angel and Kamilla long term, because if you're drafting Dom, you're basically saying that one of these two players isn't a part of your future. They will be traded in a couple of seasons when Dom is ready. So what I would do here at number 3 is draft either Sonia Citron out of Notre Dame, 6'1", 6'2"-ish wing, or Tahina Paoapo. Paoapo next to Sloot as a shooter, can play on and off the ball, is a good passer. Learning from Sloot would be great. Paoapo is a better defender than I think some people would give her credit for. She has improved. She may not be a stellar on-ball point-of-attack defender in ball screens, but off the ball, her rotations, her help instincts, it's pretty sharp. She has improved from her time at Oregon, where situation-wise wasn't great in Oregon, to playing in South Carolina in a winning championship contending situation. She has improved there. The way for Chicago to build a legit contender around Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso long term is everyone on the court in your rotation, pretty much next to them, has to be a shooter. Courtney Vandersloot isn't that, but also Courtney Vandersloot isn't the long-term answer at point guard. More of a stopgap option for the next couple seasons, maybe 1 year. We'll see how long she wants to play. She is 35, age 35 season in 2025. But having like Citron, Rebecca Allen, maybe you can draft a point guard in 2026 or 2027. Maybe free agency as well. There's going to be a ton of free agents over the next couple seasons with the new CBA. That will be their pathway to success. I am still a little bit skeptical, though, that having Angel and Kamilla Cardoso in your front court can be a championship-winning team. It's a lot to work with. Their front office has done well so far, so we'll see where it goes from here. On the bench, Elizabeth Williams. Williams could be the best backup center in the W this season, between her or Niara Sabali, maybe even Bree Jones if Bree comes off the bench for Atlanta, but I think they might just start Bree. They're paying her so much money, like a max contract. I can't really see them having her off the bench, but either way, Will is a steady backup guard. They also re-signed Michaela Onyenwere on a restricted free agency contract, 1-year deal. They also signed Kia Nurse. Kia is a 6-foot off-ball guard. Kia is just a microwave scorer. Whenever she is on, she's great, can make some deep threes, can work off the ball, work off movement. But her consistency from 3 is the major worry with Kia. Whenever she's not making her threes, she's kind of unplayable. This is one thing I tweeted out after this signing was public. So in the first 8 games of 2024, she was terrific. 35% from 3 on 6 attempts per game. In the middle of the season, so every game between the first 8 games and the last 8 games, she was 28% on 3 attempts. The last 8 games, 42% on 4 attempts. So she will have these great 8-game, 7-game, 6-game stretches where she is going nuclear from 3. Then the next 8 games, she will be 28%, 25%. The next 8 games, she might go 35% again on high volume from 3. But with Chicago now, if they can draft Citron, Paoapo, if she's making her threes, cool. If she's not, you're off the bench. You're not playing many minutes tonight. They also have the number 10 pick in this draft. I could see them going with Aisha Sivka out of Slovenia as a draft and stash pick. Maybe they go Georgia Amor. Maybe they go with Cheyenne Sellers if she falls to 10. Does she make it there? Probably not at this point, but someone like that. Just a 3-and-D wing that can play multiple spots, or a backup guard even. Hopefully Mariah Jefferson is better next season for Chicago. In her 14 games, it was pretty brutal. She was 3 of 26 from the field, 2 of 16 from 2, 1 of 10 from 3. MoJeff was someone I was high on entering this season. Even a year ago in 2023, she was a solid guard, but the injuries have kind of nuked her athleticism. Being 5'6", if you aren't an explosive athlete and aren't going to make threes at a high level, it's just hard to be a WNBA player if you don't have either of those skills right there. But if MoJeff can regain some of her form with a full offseason of rest and recovery and training, hopefully she is better and is at least serviceable for Chicago off the bench. They should probably explore finding another guard, whether it's in the draft and free agency, to be another backup there, because you can't play Sloot 30 minutes a night, I don't think, 35 minutes. They need to go much more committee-based at their point guard spot, especially considering Kennedy Carter will not be back next season. Overall, I love this Rebecca Allen trade for Chicago. They were playing Diamond to Shield 13 to 14 minutes per game last year. She even started some games for Chicago. Yeah, she started 10 games. Now going from Diamond to Rebecca Allen. Diamond was the worst small forward, one of the worst wings in the W last season. Yeah, I had her ranked 22nd of all 22 eligible small forwards in my position rankings, versus like Rebecca Allen, who is a starting caliber player at the forward spot. Phoenix was much better defensively. They looked like a better basketball team before Rebecca Allen went out with her injury. Do I think Chicago is a championship contender? Do I think they will win a playoff series in 2025? Probably not. That's not how I envision their season going. But if they're a 7 seed, an 8 seed, even a 9 seed, but show development with Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso and whoever they draft this season, that is more important than the win-loss result on the court. Their development is your future. How they play is the priority for this new coaching staff and their GM in year 2. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree with my perspective on Chicago's offseason so far? Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Plenty more coverage this WNBA offseason. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.